All right, let's do it. So the Fantastic Four trailer finally launched. They build this hype around it, where there was like a live stream of an actual rocket launch, and it was definitely meant to be from that world that they're from. And it was kind of cool, had this retro feel to it. And I was digging it. I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is a way to hype a movie trailer. And I guess it's Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family and all that. Why not, right? They've tried to reboot it for like every 10 years. Looks like they've tried to reboot it. If it works out pretty much, 2025 is the third time in 3 decades that they've tried to reboot the Fantastic Four on the big screen. So let's see how this one goes. For those of you who don't know, I'll just read a bit of descriptor on what this movie is. And if you haven't watched it, please go do so after this and come back and let me know your thoughts. So, set against the vibrant backdrop of a 1960s inspired retro futuristic world, Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps introduces Marvel's first family, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, who's played by Pedro Pascal, Sue Storm, or the Invisible Woman, played by Vanessa Kirby, Johnny Storm, Human Torch, played by Joseph Quinn. You probably only really know him from Stranger Things. And Ben Grimm, the Thing, played by Ebon Moss Backrack. It's quite a name, as they face their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus, played by Ralph Ineson. I don't know who that is. And his enigmatic herald, Silver Surfer, Julia Garner. More on that later. And if Galactus's plan to devour the entire planet and everyone on it, it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. Right. So that says a lot. And I think they might have said too much. That pretty much tells me. Let me tell you what that tells me. First off, what did I think of the trailer? Look, I thought the trailer was quite good. Quite good. I think it nailed what it needed to do. It sparked the interest and intrigue. It looks very different than what you would expect. So how are they going to do this, right? It's set in a 1960s inspired retro futuristic world. So clearly this is in not the main cinematic universe timeline, right? It's in its own thing. And I think they've been pretty open about that leading up, like all the press and everything leading up to this trailer. So we're still in the multiverse, for better or worse. But it makes sense because Fantastic Four, being Marvel's first family, they're quite synonymous with Marvel comics and the history of Marvel, all the major events. Like the Fantastic Four are the thing, right? They're, pardon the pun, but they're always part of something or the solution. And them not being around for the entire MCU so far, how do you get around that? They're a big deal. So it makes sense. Okay, let's set them on their own little timeline, their own universe. And look, I think just thinking further ahead a bit with the Secret Wars and Doomsday and stuff like that coming down, there is a comic book called Secret Wars that Jonathan Hickman wrote, which goes back to the Omnibus. It's one of the Omnibus I just recently got, which apparently, from what I hear, is going to lean really heavily into that, right? Which means there's worlds colliding, timelines, there's a conversion, that kind of stuff. So I think, and I'm not alone here, I think everybody's pretty savvy, or at least who's a comic book fan, is pretty savvy that by the end of this Fantastic Four movie, it's probably going to tease into Secret Wars, and there'll be a collapse, like maybe they're trying to escape Galactus. So the line here, it says, if it weren't bad enough, it suddenly gets very personal. Right, so Galactus has come to Earth, threatening to devour Earth. There's the Herald, Silver Surfer, Julie Garner. It's a completely different one. I wish we were getting Nor and Rad, but who knows? Maybe after the convergence, Galactus is always there. Galactus existed, or I don't know if they'll do it in this one, but in the comics, he existed in the prior universe, right? And he rebirthed himself or became reborn in our 616 Marvel universe. So he's always there. So if that universe collapses, will he appear or exist in the new one? And will Silver Surfer become Nor and Rad in that universe? So I think that's probably how that's going to go. But something gets very personal. So what does that mean? They haven't said anything about Franklin Richards, who is Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son, and he's just really super powerful. That's putting it mildly, but I don't know if they're going to go that far. I don't know if they're going to have Franklin Richards in here. The trailer makes it look like the Fantastic Four is quite established for quite some time. The relationships are all there. This isn't like an origin story. Reed and Sue Storm have been together for quite some time by the looks, and perhaps it's enough time for them to have a son, right? Maybe they have a baby in this movie, right? Maybe Galactus senses this super powerful creature and not only just wants to destroy Earth, but maybe destroy Franklin as well. Maybe that's what this movie is, right? And everything that happens around that. I don't know. Or maybe Franklin's old enough to be able to think for himself and all that kind of stuff, where maybe at the end of this movie, Franklin Richards saves everybody by using his abilities and his powers to merge them into another universe to save them from Galactus's destruction. Maybe that's how they get into the 616 universe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here, and it might sound a bit too far, but who knows? We've got Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom, so anything goes at this point, right? So, look, I'm pretty excited for this movie. I think this is the first one. The only other thing is the Daredevil series, the new Daredevil series. That's the only other thing I'm kind of excited for that Marvel's putting out now, as opposed to everything else that they've done for almost 8 years or 5 or 8 years now with the Phase 4 or the MCU that they've tried to do. I haven't been a fan of any of that, and I'm not alone. I'm sure the shareholders in Disney have voiced their concerns at how much money they're losing in the billions of dollars. So now they're trying to hopefully turn it around, and hopefully it's not too late, and we get a good movie, and Marvel can get back on track, because we all want good stuff, right? We all remember those 10 years of the first 10 years of Marvel movies, right? Everything like the Avengers, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, all that kind of stuff. Then leading into Endgame and all that, man, like that. Like let's get back there, right? Let's make good movies people want to see. Stop the messaging. Let's turn it around. Let's get hyped again. I want something to talk about that's exciting and that's cool every week. So come on. But yeah, so look, I thought the trailer was okay. Right, it definitely confirms a giant Galactus in the movie, which is awesome. He's not going to be a cloud, a space cloud in this one, which is good. I think the only thing that really bothers me as much as I thought it would is Ben Grimm and his Thing voice. I thought it was going to be a bit more gravelly New York, right? But he just sounds like the dude that's playing him. Right, voicing a CG character. I mean, he looks cool. He looks legit, like old school Thing from the 60s, right? It's on point. You can't fault the design. It's iconic. It looks just like he stepped out of the comics, which is awesome. But I was expecting like a Ben Grimm from New York, like kind of, let's do that. If you're going to go the whole way, go the whole way. Like make him a full-on New Yorker, like, the ever-loving Thing, all blue eyes, that kind of stuff. And that's my real poor New York accent. But, just do it. Build the character as it's intended. That really put me off as more than I thought it was going to, I'd like to admit. But if that's the only thing that's putting me off from that trailer, then they've done a good job. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out this year. Won't be too far away. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's July. March or July. Anyway, around that time period. I don't think it's March. It's too soon. I can't remember. I forgot to write the notes down. But it'll be here before you know it, and we'll have a good Marvel movie. It's around the same time that Superman's out as well, and there's something else that's coming out. There's a 3-hitter weekend, 3-hitter period. The Superman, Fantastic Four, and something else. Anyway, like we're spoilt for choice. The way we've got a lot of cool things coming out. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, anyway, Fantastic Four. There you go. That's my thoughts on it. Let's go. I'm really digging it. Let me know what you think about it, and we'll head straight into the next topic.